Welcome, welcome, welcome to the film show that looks like death. Now on the menu today, I'm talking to a chap called Mark Mason. He's the author of the best-selling book, The Importance of Being Trivial. Now the book is all about Mark's pursuit of the perfect fact, and along the way, he's picked up more movie trivia than is humanly acceptable. So without any further ado, let's meet the author. Mark, thank you very much for coming on the show. It's an absolute delight to have you here. So, I guess what I want to know is how you sort of fell in love with trivia in the first place.
I think it was always there. It was something that wasn't a conscious act. It was whatever subject cropped up. And I noticed this talking to male friends very often. Whatever subject cropped up, one of us would know something about it, some quirky little fact. And sadly, it's happened now. Out of the corner of my eye, I can see the Usual Suspects poster. When they tried to film that scene, they were in hysterics, and they almost, I've seen Gabriel Byrne interviewed about it, he said they almost couldn't use it.
Oh,
they
really?
got the giggles so badly, and the director was just getting madder and madder and madder that they couldn't use it. So that scene, that legendary scene, was almost not in the film.
I didn't know that. Well, I can never look at the sand the same way again. So you've done this book about going to, what to show it to the viewers, the importance of being trivial, about going in search of the perfect fact. Along the way, what kind of sort of filmy stuff did you pick up on?
The filmy stuff was a lot of what you might call male films.
Yeah.
Something I kept coming back to in the book was, having mentioned that it was male friends, is that there's an explanation for that. I mean, there's a psychological, neurological thing about the male brain that a lot of the book goes into. That, to sum it up, men like detail. Women tend to see the bigger picture. An apt phrase in this case. They will emotionally bond with a film, but they won't look for the answer in the detail. So men, especially with a favourite film, something like The Godfather or Spinal Tap or The Usual Suspects, you know, cult films, a man will watch it again and again and again, and he will remember every line. He doesn't set out to, but that's the way the male brain stores information. And then once you've progressed beyond that, you want a relationship with the film. If it's a favourite film you've seen again and again, you've probably watched the DVD, you've watched the making of documentary on the DVD, films about films, you know, the movies are going meta. It's a more and more intense relationship all the time. So once you've watched Jaws 50 times, then you start to read about the making of it, and you know that there were 3 fake sharks, one of which sank, one of which was called Bruce. One of which was called Bruce, after Steven Spielberg's accountant.
Is that right?
And then stuff like Alien. It makes you watch the films again in a whole new way. When you watch the scene where the alien comes out of John Hurt, look at everyone else around him. The director hadn't told them what was going to happen.
Is that right?
Obviously John Hurt had to know, but nobody else knew. So I think Sigourney Weaver gets splattered with blood, and she jumps back in absolute shock. Completely genuine shock. They hadn't told her.
Somebody told me once that alien was a rabbit, a skinned rabbit.
Really?
But I went to go and have a look back at the movie because I was so excited by the idea that the alien was a skinned rabbit, and it looked nothing like a skinned rabbit at all. So I think someone's fobbed a petard on me there. So I did a little bit of research on some film trivia, and I thought I'd give you a little test, a bit of true or falses. So, true or false, Mark? Bambi was voted 20th greatest horror film of all time in an article in Time magazine.
That's so beautiful, it's got to be true.
It is indeed true. Well done. One. We'll have 2 more. The second question is this. There are 23 films with the title X. That's all the title is, X. True or false? True or false? That can't be true. 23 is a prime number, and when people are making things up, they always go for prime numbers, so I'd say that's false. That's good. Is that true?
But it's just instinct. If you're trying to make something funny or make something convincing, people tend to go for prime numbers.
Well, you're absolutely right. I did make it up on the spur of the moment. But there are actually 8 films with the title X.
Wow.
But that's another good fact. Okay, last one. The filmed version of Orwell's Animal Farm was secretly funded by the CIA.
I've heard this, and this is one of the things that could be an urban myth. So I'm going to say it is an urban myth. I'm going false.
Well, we think it's true. At least I think it's true from the research I've done. But the urban myth thing is an interesting point here, because there are times you touch in your book on the notion of urban myths. How do they sort of come about?
Well, it's scary. I mean, the one that really got me was the famous scene in Midnight Cowboy when they're crossing the street. They were filming without permission, and there's a bit where the cab nearly hits Dustin Hoffman, and he hits the bonnet. He goes, I'm walking here. And it's become quite well known that happened for real, because it wasn't a stunt driver, it was a real cab. Then I heard someone, I got this from imdb.com actually, a referenced interview with someone who'd worked on the film, assistant cameraman or something, who said that's completely untrue, we got the permits. I've since heard Dustin Hoffman interviewed, and I've heard him say the words, it's absolutely true, the cab nearly hit me for real, I just reacted. Who do you believe? I think in that one you've got to believe Dustin Hoffman, because he was there, the cab would have killed him, you know. But you can never, another thing the book keeps picking up on, it's very hard ever to say for sure that something's either true or definitely untrue.
So have you found, since publishing the book, have you had any feedback from anyone that might suggest that something you thought was true was untrue, or vice versa?
There's been a little bit of that, or they've cast doubt on it. But the one that people keep picking up on, which definitely is true, is the Carlsberg Special Brew one, which it was invented for Winston Churchill.
Okay.
He'd said that no lager was strong enough for him, and Carlsberg in 1950 said, okay, to say thanks for your help during the war, Denmark is going to brew you this incredibly strong lager.
Is that true?
That's absolutely true.
Well, that is absolutely astonishing. I mean, that really is, I mean, can you believe that? I'm absolutely dumbstruck. There was also a theory, isn't there, that was it Krug invented Paul Roget invented a special type of bottle for Winston Churchill.
I think it's when he died. In fact, to this day, someone told me, I haven't seen a bottle of Paul Roget lately. I keep meaning to look out. There's a black line around the border, which because it was Churchill's favourite champagne, they introduced it after he died. Okay. And it's still there to this day. Okay.
See, this is where trivia is so interesting, the different kind of slants on it. The version I heard, and we'll have to rush off to the internet afterwards to have a look at this, the version I heard was that they'd invented a 3/4 bottle because that was enough for him during his lifetime. That was enough for him to drink during his bath in the morning. Brilliant. Because he did famously drink an awful lot throughout the day.
I want that to be true. The other one like that is that Ian Fleming put Paul Roget in a Bond novel. I forget which one. He said that Bond had half a bottle of Paul Roget, and Fleming was like, you know, these sort of like Frederick Forsyth, always picks up on the detail, wants to get it right, and was very annoyed to be told that Paul Roget was the one champagne manufacturer who didn't make half bottles after the novel had come out. So authenticity is everything.
So Bonds, do you know any kind of stuff about the Bonds franchise?
There's so much. The first film, Dr. No, it's not Ursula Andress's voice. She was completely dubbed.
The whole film?
The whole film, she was completely dubbed. Her accent was too strong. Because he's Swedish, I think, isn't she? Whatever she was, her accent was too strong.
Really?
And also when McCartney did Live and Let Die, the theme for the film, he recorded it, big horn section, big production, took the tape out, tape as it was in those days, to the West Indies where they were filming, played it to Cubby Broccoli, and Broccoli said, yeah, that sounds really good, so that's the demo, when can you get the real version done? And McCartney said, that is the finished version.
Really? One of the things that I picked up on the other day that I thought was great, another bit of film trivia, was that the final film Orson Welles ever made was, do you know the answer to this?
It was bound to be awful. It's going to be one that he's probably not associated with.
It's absolutely incredible, this fact. Orson Welles' final performance was as the voice of Optimus Prime in Transformers the movie The Cartoon.
Which must have been made after he died, surely?
No, it was the year he died.
Really?
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah, and what a terrible way to be remembered.
Noel Coward's last film, The Italian Job.
Really? And
the beautiful bit of trivia from that, which is a lovely image, is that every Wednesday they were filming in London. He and Michael Caine would go and have dinner together at the Savoy Grill. Oh, and I love that because it's like the handover the generations thing. You know, Noel Coward's last film, one of Michael Caine's first biggest films.
Absolutely fantastic.
And also the minis race through the sewer.
Yeah.
When they're doing that and going up onto the ceiling of the sewer, the roof of the sewer. That sewer is between Birmingham and Coventry.
Really?
There's a newly opened sewer at the
You're
time.
very good. Now, we could natter for hours and hours, and I'd love to. But we've got to get on with two things. We're going to do a quiz. We're going to give away one of your books.
Okay.
So you're going to ask a question.
I am.
To the viewers. And you guys need to send in your answers to quiz@channelflip.com.
The question is, which was the first, and as far as I know only, but certainly the first X-rated movie to win the Oscar for Best Picture? The first X-rated movie to win the Oscar for Best Picture.
Fantastic. Right, finally it's time for Piggy Snacks. We're going to do this together. We've got a Cadbury snack. What, do you want to take...
Oh, it's a biscuit. I was expecting like a bar.
Well, look, we've got little, see, this is perfect for sharing.
Oh, wonderful.
We have little tiny biscuits here. What do you think?
I'm always sold on chocolate. If you're trying to get me to eat chocolate, I'm ahead of you. But that is very good chocolate.
It's a good chocolate, but it's what I call kiddie chocolate. It's milk chocolate. It's not something for the grown-ups. Mark is clearly revealing a wonderful childish spirit here that's led him to make this fantastic book. On that rather demeaning note, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.